Alright. Hello, everybody. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome all of you to Let's Play Sniper Elite V2, which does not stand for version 2. You'll figure out what it actually stands for later. Now, I do actually have, I believe I actually have all the DLC for this game. Wait, am I even signed in? Am I signed into Steam? No. How do I English? Give me a second. Okay, so I am signed in. Now, I do have pretty much all of the DLC. I have Neudorf Outpost, Landwehr Canal, St. Pierre, Assassinate the Fuhrer, which is my favorite, because you get to castrate Hitler. Anyway, but first we're going to play the campaign. Now, first off, I want to make sure the enemies suck. And you get a ton of assistance. I'm tempted to make the ballistic realism realistic, but... if I were to, yeah, you know what? I am going to put it on limited.
Hitler's war machine, once unstoppable, was now on the retreat. The Allies in the west and Russia in the east were squeezing the tattered remnants of the Reich in a vice-like grip. Germany's last hope lay in their wonder weapons. The V2 rocket. A huge leap forward in the history of military technology. It was a weapon system to herald a new form of warfare. Inhuman. Faster than the speed of sound, it struck without warning. The Nazis launched over 3,000 rockets in a desperate attempt to reverse history. It was a terror weapon, pummeling Antwerp, Paris, and London.
London Bridge is falling down,
their launch sites were overrun and pushed back out of range of England. But already, the Allies were looking to the future, to the next war. The Americans were gathering up the best of Germany's rocket scientists in the top-secret Operation Overcast. Many of the architects of the V2 program had already been acquired, but not all. With Berlin encircled, Germany's last-ditch defense falling back block by block, and total defeat only days away, those scientists remaining in the city would soon be in Russian hands. My job was to make sure that didn't happen.
Sniper Elite V2. Now you know what V2
General Hans
stands
von
for.
Eisenberg was negotiating in secret for safe passage for his team. 5 of the V2 program's top men. He was meeting his Russian handler at the Brandenburg Gate. This was my chance to take him out before he could seal the deal. I was prepared, focused, confident. Little did I know, it would turn out to be the most difficult mission I'd ever undertaken.
Okay, so, for the record, normally you would be able to choose the rifle, the amount of grenade. Basically, you would be able to choose your entire loadout. But since this is the very first mission, you are stuck with the Springfield, the Thompson, and the Well Rod. Now, actually, interesting thing is, the Well Rod is actually a real gun. it is a very unknown gun, because they only made like 20,000 of them. They're a British weapon, and it is built so it actually makes really close to no noise. It's essentially silenced right off the bat. The strange thing is, it's a pistol, and it's bolt action. So, anyway, but this is basically whole tutorial level. And essentially I don't have to go through it because I've already gone through it before. I just finished playing this game literally just yesterday. For like the 3rd time, actually. No, it was like the 5th time.
Von Eisenberg was punctual and made no effort to hide his ugly face.
Exactly, he is really ugly.
Neither did his Russian contact.
But his Russian contact wasn't as ugly. Now, that Russian contact guy...
The slightest pressure on the trigger, and it was good night, Major General. Just a question of choosing my moment. The square was well sheltered, so there was no wind to worry about. I had to aim 1 notch above the target to compensate for bullet drop. I controlled my breathing to steady my aim. And then, shoot.
And there's the reticle. Kaboom! Okay, fun fact. In reality, that guy's head would have actually exploded. Like, his entire brain would have poured out of his head. I found this out from a scout sniper in the U.S. Marines who writes fan fiction. Apparently, if you shoot somebody through the frontal lobe, then it'll only create a hole through their head. If you shoot somebody in the temporal lobe, which is the lower lobe of your brain, literally, their brain will blow up. And their freaking, like, their head will blow open and their brain will come out. Shit like that. There's one. There's one. Shit. Gotcha. Talk about a broken heart. There. Alright, I got all of them. Incapacitated all of them, which was 2 people, so can't exactly say all of them. Now here's the thing, you try and go through here, tank! Control is not to go down. Holy son of a Jesus. Alright. Hello, sir. Wait a minute. Juice bottle. Got it. Shooting those wine bottles is for an achievement. And that's actually the only one on this level. I can't believe I didn't get that before. Not going to question it. Just keep walking. Just keep walking. Pretend like you didn't see anything. Pretend like you didn't do anything. They're not buying it. Hello, sir. You died. Hello, sir. You'll be dead now.
When Eisenberg was dead, I was committed now. Both the Russians and Germans would know I was in play. 4 to go. Intel told me my next target was Dr. Gunter Kreidel, an expert in rocket engines. He was traveling across town in an armored convoy. We believed he was carrying documents that would lead me to the V2 production facility, where the other 3 scientists were waiting. I'd identified a point on the route where I could lay a booby trap and stop the convoy. Naturally, the area was defended. I'd expect nothing less.
Let's see here. I always like to keep the well rod. Springfield has a pretty, it has a pretty good muzzle velocity, but the magnification sucks, and it's bolt action. Gewehr has an extremely high zoom level, but it has a really low muzzle velocity. Mosin Nagant, good zoom, very high velocity, but bolt action, and very slow bolt action. The Kar 98K, very famous German rifle. It has insane amounts of zoom, but an insane low muzzle velocity, and an insane amount of bolt action. SVT-40, Russian rifle, Russian semi-auto. Not the best zoom, and high recoil, but it has a pretty big magazine for, you know. Lee Enfield Mark III. This is actually one of my more preferred rifles. The only bad part is low muzzle velocity. M1 carbine. This is my all-time favorite World War II rifle. It was the first rifle to ever be issued to everybody in the military. And it's also one of the few guns that you can literally pull straight out of water and it'll work. It has a really high high magazine in this, when in reality it only has about 8 bullets a magazine. But its zoom sucks. Then there's its friend, the M1D Garand. Smaller clip in this, but it's more realistic. But its muzzle velocity also sucks. And then the Type 99, Japanese rifle. Very, very low capacity as far as ammo, but very, very high muzzle velocity and zoom. This is a good rifle. Now, as for the secondaries, MP40. You all should probably know what this one is. PPSH-41, one of my all-time favorite submachine guns. PPSH-41, extremely high rate of fire, but insane recoil, and it's got kind of crappy damage. Rate of fire does make up for the damage, though. Thompson, classic Tommy gun. Al Capone. Bliskowicz. I have no idea how the hell to pronounce that. I've never heard of this until this game. It's got great damage, crap accuracy. MP44. Essentially the same thing as the MP40, except for less damage, higher rate of fire. All in all, I prefer the blouse. Anyway, Welrod. British pistol, auto silence. They build it so the shot is really hard to hear, but it is totally useless in a firefight. M1911. Really, this model is over 100 years old, and it has 45 caliber bullets, which are really good. For its time, it has a pretty good magazine, but nowadays 8 rounds does not help. Also, think about it. You're in places in Europe, you are not going to get much cold M1911 ammo around here. Then again, you shouldn't be able to get much Springfield ammo either. Luger P08. Oh, the pistol that tried to take over the world twice. Really high rate of fire. Pretty bad damage, but still. And it's got one of the most confusing bullet casing release systems ever. I think it is like the most cool looking pistol in the history of time. But That's just personal opinion. And then there is the Russian Tokarev TT-33. Bad damage, but great magazine capacity for its time. The Weebly Mark VI, another British pistol. Like pretty much all revolvers, it is powerful as fudge. It's a 6-shooter. But here's the thing, you have to pull the hammer back for every freaking shot. Okay, it doesn't automatically pull back. You have to do it manually. So, that gives it a lower rate of fire, and it's extremely noisy. So once again, I go with the well rod. And the Type 99. And then the other things don't really worry about right now. They're not important until later, really. Alright, so for this, they literally throw you into it. Just entirely. Now you can either shoot this guy, or do a stealth kill. I prefer to shoot them. It gives you a lot more points. If you are going for points, then... bollocks. There, problem solved. Alright. Don't mind me. I'm just a guy. I'm not your enemy, even though I work for the side that you're, you know, against in the war. In reality, it was more of a separate war between America and Japan. Really, because we didn't do much with the Germans. I mean, we did help out with them, but a lot of it was Japanese. Because, I mean, they kind of bombed us, and we had a freaking peace treaty with them at the time. So we're like, why would you do that? You guys are dicks. And they're like, oh, well, tough crap. And then we're like, okay then. We're gonna beat the crap out of you and then bomb you twice with nuclear freaking weapons. And they're like, okay, come at me, bro. And then we did it. And they're like, okay, we get the idea. Alright. I'm going to try and tag as many enemies in this as I can. Like, for these kinds of parts where there are a ton of enemies spread out. Also, if you hover over guys for long enough, it'll show you their stats. The side they're on, the weapon they're holding, their distance from you, and their rank. As well as if they know you're there or not, but it's not like you could really care about that kind of thing right now. And then, of course, here, this guy, isn't this guy still a private? Private first class. Indeed. Alright. Let's get this bitch rolling. I see you. That shot was jaw-dropping. I'm going to stop making puns now. Oh god, castration. Why does that always happen when I'm like least counting on it? Except for the one time where I intentionally castrated Hitler. Okay, one more pun. I didn't mean to be nosy. Got him. World War II dentistry. Not the kind you want to have. Shut up, no one's going to help you. Yeah, I think he died. Okay, so I just got a grenade. I didn't want the MP40. Thank you. Dinamite. Well, Rod. Ammo full. I don't have that gun, but whatever. There. I hate it when it takes, like, a bunch of shots to kill a guy. Always aim for the head with this thing. Always, always, always. Anyway, you do have a chance here to get a really good 2-for-1 headshot. Normally, a sniper's motto is 1 shot, 1 kill. Sometimes, you just get more than you bargained for. One shot, 2 kills. Shit, there goes my phone. I like how I kill the guy where he's standing, and so he's just like, okay, this guy's useless now, and then he drops him. Hide from that. Alright, now if you look up here, this guy is totally oblivious to everything that just happened. Even though he's a sergeant, he should be like freaking... His ears should be trained to know the sounds of his fellow soldiers dying. Maybe he'll react to the sound of his skull busting open. I think that's the perfect time to end the episode. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.